Hi there. Today I'm going to show you how to make a pencil skirt. First we'll make a pattern for a basic skirt, and then I'll show you how to make the transformations to the basic skirt pattern to make a pencil skirt.
Carefully draw a rectangle. The horizontal lines will be half the hip measurement. And the vertical lines will be the length of the skirt. Take 1/4 of your hip measurement and subtract 1 centimeter. This is where you're going to divide the rectangle with the vertical line 5 to 6. You'll mark your hip drop at 0.7. Now we're going to work on the back pattern. Mark the line at 1.5 centimeters, and that's 0.8. Now you're going to calculate 1/4 of the waist measurement and add 2 centimeters. Mark that measurement with a dotted line. That's 0.8 to 9. Point 12 is the middle point between 8 and 9. And you'll just freehand a curve here. Then at point 10, you'll mark in 1 centimeter. Point 11 would be marking down about 16 to 18 centimeters. It's approximately your hip drop. Connect the points 10 to 11. And then using a square ruler against the dotted line, mark down about 9 centimeters. Mark 1 centimeter to either side of point 12 and connect both these points to point 13. That's going to be your dart. Connect point 9 to point 7 with a dotted line and mark the midpoint as point 14. Then about 1/2 to 3/4 of a centimeter, using the square ruler against the dotted line, mark point 15. Will be slightly outside of point 14. Connect points 9, 15, and 7 with a slight curve. And here I've forgotten to mark point 11. For the front pattern, you would mark the line at 1.5 centimeters. That's point 16. From point 16 to point 17, you'll calculate 1/4 of the waist measurement and add 3 centimeters. With a straight ruler, mark that measurement with a dotted line. Point 18 is the midpoint between point 16 and 17. Here you measure about 9 centimeters down from point 18 using the square ruler and mark 1 centimeter to either side of that point. This is the dart also. And then again, a very slight curve. You'll draw that freehand. Here you're making another dart. draw a dotted line between point 17 and 7 and mark the midpoint as point 20. And again, you'll mark about 1/2 to 3/4 of a centimeter outwards using the square ruler to the left side of point 20. That's point 21, and this is where you connect the 3 points, 17, 21, and 7, with a very slight curve. See how it gives a little volume here for your rear end. So it goes from being flat to you having a little bit of volume. It changes the shape of this line here. So you need to redraw that line. So you need to make this kind of a neater curve. See? And then it'll form a peak here. Otherwise, you're not going to have enough fabric for the pleat. So here we have the base mold, the base pattern. Now we need to trace these and add the seam allowances to the final pattern. Don't forget to mark the hip point. Measure 1 centimeter in over here and 2 centimeters in over here. One very simple way to get the seam allowance is to take a compass and separate it by the amount of the seam allowance you want. So in this case, I want a 1 centimeter seam allowance. And now just draw along the line with the pencil 1 centimeter outward, all around the lines where the lines of the pattern. Make sure you go along the modified lines. Tracing from your base pattern to your cutting pattern, make sure you mark the dart as well. On your cutting pattern. See? Yeah. And then we just draw the lines in there. We will just cut along the pencil lines, which is your seam allowance, your pattern, including the seam allowance. Another thing we need to do to the pattern before we cut our fabric is make the notches in the strategic points. These are the points where we line the front up with the back. So here, that's the hip mark, point number 7, I believe, or 11. It's actually 11. So we'll just mark in a 1/2 centimeter. You do this on all the reference points.